Education is believed to be a fundamental human right and a viable key to development for any society. It is in recognition of this that the international community and governments all over the world have made commitments for citizens to have access to good education. While a lot of progress has been made to reduce mass illiteracy in Nigeria through the Universal Basic Education UBE program, the number of school facilities and teachers available for basic education remain inadequate for quality learning. The poor performance of students over the years has proven that their basic learning needs have not been adequately met.
A teacher just writes in the board and just stand and explain it. There is many students in the class, they used to make noise.
When I have problem with my academy or I don't understand what the teacher did, I feel so sad because for me, I will feel like I'm now dull.
I had serious problem in mathematics and essay writing. I could not understand. I read but I don't understand. When it is taught in the class, I don't understand. And it made me very sad.
The way we noticed that our performance of our students is going down is the first the junior WAEC, that is JC, they wrote. Almost half of the students failed. I felt very, very bad.
Children are not doing well in school because teachers are not covering their scheme of work. Teachers had this kind of laissez-faire attitude. They go to school when they like, they leave school when they like, and we said no. When a child is properly taught, that child will be able to do well.
We had the problem of insurgency, so we had problem with the educational system. Everything stopped during this insurgency. We are all afraid. Even some parents decided to stop their children from coming to school.
So students were not able to go to school and then learn, and some of them that returned to school, they didn't have good teachers. So community members were just teachers in schools, and these people didn't have that qualification to be a teacher. First of all, they didn't have access to education, and then they still didn't have the good quality education.
The state of education wasn't quite what is expected. General performance was low. Examination malpractice was on increase. The attitude of the people towards education did not depict what it should be, where quality education should be emphasized.
Concerned by the increasing decline in education in Nigeria, South Saharan Social Development Organization, SSDO, chose to step in and make a difference. Being a non-profit organization with a primary focus of equipping women, youth and children with the social, health, economic, educational and political skills needed to both survive and excel in sub-Saharan Africa, SSDO proffered a brilliant solution to the nation's educational challenge.
Looking at the falling standard of education, which has also resulted in some of the secondary school students not being able to scale through the West African Examination Council, because this started actually in 2003 when we discovered that almost like 70% of the students that sat for the exam failed. So we're looking for opportunity. How do we find a solution to this falling standard of education and then inculcate in the young people the act of reading, understanding, and then having interest in education?
The answer? The Radio School Project. This is an initiative funded by MacArthur Foundation under the Partnership to Strengthen Innovation in Public Secondary Education grant.
This is basically the goal of Radio School, to improve learning outcomes of adolescent girls and boys in the 4 core subjects, because the Ministry of Education made 4 subjects compulsory in secondary school, which is English, mathematics, civic education and basic science. So what we wanted to do was to improve the learning outcomes in these 4 subjects through the radio.
We wanted to bridge the gap between the number of students that are out of school. We wanted to give them the same level of education as their counterparts in the school.
Welcome to your radio school, where we bring you lessons in maths, English.
In 2016, SSDO launched the Radio School program. Lessons were pre-recorded in live classroom settings with teachers employing simple yet effective distance teaching techniques.
We had teachers that were trained by Butterfly Works from Holland, and they now recorded a live classroom recordings of this curriculum. Then we now put it out on radio for students to listen to. And so what we do is, when we went into the schools, we gave them radio. So when it's time for maybe English class, you have the recordings being played. And then we have also teachers in the school that were trained to also guide the students when they are listening. And then they have opportunities of calling our trained teachers, because we had hotlines that were toll-free that people can call in, and then if it's English, you have questions on English, the English teacher will respond to you and then give you feedback.
So it was aired for 2 academic years, and students were listening. And during that airing time, that broadcast period, we the South-Saharan staff and the CPATs and our partners in Adamawa, we were going to the field every time to monitor what the students are doing, whether they are listening to the lesson, and whether there are any challenges in the field.
So the great benefit for me is that the young people today we have in the classes that we targeted have become better listeners, more willing to pursue their education. A lot of them who couldn't speak English well started picking and even became interested in understanding things better. Then even for those who were not very good with maybe mathematics and civic education or the basic sciences, I mean, given that the radio in itself was a rallying tool, they became interested. No one wanted to be left out.
We found out that just beyond the students, that the teachers found radio school as a tool that helps them to prepare for their lessons. We have testimonials from teachers saying that the radio school has helped them, that the examples that were given by the radio school lessons help them to prepare for their lessons.
Radio program have so many impacts in my life. Firstly, it have now made me to understand that I need to prepare my lesson anytime I'm going to class. Specifically, that my subject, the teacher there, the uncle in that subject is doing marvelously well. So I love the way that he's teaching. So I now emulate the way that he teaches in the class.
One of your facilitators that teach maths in the radio school, he's teaching this LCM, the method and the skills he used. I learned something from it. I said, okay, this is how it's supposed to be. Okay, I will change my own method. When I change it, my students are very happy because they are getting what I'm telling them.
So long as you want to be a successful teacher, you learn from the other person, and these are the things that we learn to add up what we know, and then try to infuse this on the student. And that has improved a lot.
Another way that the radio school program helped the teachers is that it helped them to complete the skill they have. And in methodology, they will now have that's an innovation of teaching.
The great impact this outstanding initiative has made is probably best expressed by the students who experienced radio school firsthand.
I'm happy about the radio school program because when we are inside the class, I'll listen to my colleagues at another school telling me more about, and I will put more interest because they are my classmates that are saying such things. So I will put more interest to learn so that I will be in their categories or level.
I like the way they teach during the radio lesson, because if they're on the radio, everybody is quiet, everybody is trying to listen to what they are trying to say, and the teacher is trying his best to see that we all understand what has been said.
It helped me improve my ability listening, and it helped me to improve my understanding.
It increased their attention span in the class because they would always listen to teachers just like they listen to what they hear on the radio. Again, it improved them academically, because apart from what they study on their own, or what their class teacher teaches, that one complements as well.
With the normal teaching, teachers just go to the class, do whatever they want to. They will not bother whether the students understand, whether what he's teaching is right. But with the radio, when you teach, there's somebody monitoring you. There's somebody telling you that you are fast. The way you pronounce words are not clear. So that's the difference. Somebody monitors you and tells you right ahead that there is something going wrong. So try and improve, try and change.
It became a good opportunity for my students to sit down and listen constructively, critically, and interpret what they've learned from the radio programs. So we saw improvement in their listening skills and communicative abilities, and it manifested in their results.
From the test scores also, we've seen an increase. We've seen a rise of at least 10% across the 4 subjects in the 2 states.
For a child to have a good foundation of every subject he's doing will tell of his future. So now that they have gotten that a good foundation of these core subjects that we taught them, that will improve their performance in the future.
Amazingly, the radio school program yielded much more results than were anticipated and envisioned.
The target was actually the public schools. We had a few pilot schools, like in Enugu State, we had 17 pilot schools, and then in Adamawa, we had 21 pilot schools. We ended up stretching from 17 schools in Enugu to 292 schools in Enugu, and then from 21 pilot schools in Adamawa, we did 150 schools.
So that means that we exceeded what the contract we signed with Makata. We had more impact, more outcome. After listening to radio school, you can pick up your phone and call the teacher and ask her questions if there were some things you didn't understand, and the teacher will teach you again, explain to you process by process on phone. It was a toll-free call. From the reports from these radio school teachers, we got to know that they were receiving calls from other states in the Northeast, not just Adamawa State.
The reach, to some degree, goes beyond Adamawa State. It covers to some extent, Taraba, Gombe, Borno, and even the fringes of Cameroon.
And even down here in the East, they were receiving calls from other states like Abia, Anambra, not just in Enugu. So we got to know that our coverage went beyond Enugu and Adamawa State.
The radio school has been widely accepted and enjoyed by many students and teachers, transforming the lives of Warasini, Aishatu, Rachel, Joseph, Sharifat, Loveth, and countless students in Enugu, Adamawa, and beyond.
And to appreciate the NGOs for bringing the radio school lesson to our school, and we are very grateful. We say thank you to them. It has really helped us in our academic performance.
Thank you SSDO and CPAT for bringing radio school to us.
I want to say a very big thank you to South Saharan Social Development Organization and its partners for bringing radio school program to us. It has been enlightening, educative, informative, and it has helped us a lot in our education and helped us to discover our innate talents. And I want to say to radio school that we are expecting more from them.
I really want to appreciate our partners, the funders, Makata Foundation, the Ministry of Education, and the Post-Primary School Management Board in both Enugu and Adamawa State, and then CPAT for their support and then their interest in the project, because without them we couldn't have done it all. So I'm very grateful, and I hope we will work more and we will achieve our aim of redefining the system of education in this country.
Actually, South Saharan is an NGO to work with. They keep to their words. I'm glad that I work with them. Most NGOs, they will come and make a wonderful proposal, do all those funny things. Before you know it, they will disappear.
In fact, I was so much happy because before the introduction of the radios, if you go to a class and ask simple questions from the students, most of them will just be staring at you. But with the introduction of the radios, in fact, there was a very tremendous improvement.
Though inspired by the many success stories recorded, South Saharan Social Development Organization believes there is so much more to be done.
When we were monitoring the project, we noticed that one of the unintended outcomes was that teachers were using Radio School to learn how to teach. So we started asking questions on that, and we discovered that most of them they've not been on trainings, or it's been long they went on training. And then we also started looking at the students' learning abilities, and we found out that they had issues with their foundation. During their primary school, they didn't really learn well, so they're finding it difficult to adapt in secondary school. We knew that the problem was from the teachers in primary school, so we decided to train teachers in primary school. So that was one thing that Radio School gave birth to. It gave birth to a total new project, which we call the teacher training, the Improved Learning Outcome Project, which was all about teacher training. So South Sahara, from 2018, South Sahara introduced a new project, which was funded by another organization. We started training teachers in primary school in Enugu State.
Actually, sustainability has always been one of the issues when projects like this come, and then you tend to do a wonderful work, and at the end of it, that's where it ends. So we've proposed to the school, and we're also still in discussion with them to see if it can be part of the state budget for them to continue where we've stopped.
I must appeal for the government of Enugu State or the whole federation to come together and see that this radio school will not end. Let them continue the program, because the whole program helps a lot. Even from JS1 to SS3, it will help a lot.
Radio school should continue, no matter what. And I'm pleading to the government, individuals, organizations, NGOs, and any other person. Let it reach every area, especially around those places that are having insurgents problem. Radio school can tackle the problem.
SSDO did an impact assessment, and the results clearly show that the trial impacted on learning. And what is important in anything is sustainability, and that is why we always encourage partners, those who are really interested in education, to work with the ministry, because education is it is a venture where everybody is a stakeholder. And when we produce citizens that are of high quality, everybody benefits.
Instead of people to be putting their wealth into other things, let them come into education. The education is the well-being of a country. When the citizens of a country are educated, then the country will live at peace.
For us, on our own part, we've not relented, because we wouldn't want the project to just die like that, in as much as we are looking at scaling it up to other subjects and also other states. We've mapped out for a dissemination workshop, and then the plan for this workshop is that we want to call in all cadre of people from the public sector, from the media, and every other people we feel that they have interest in redefining the system of education in the country, for them to see what we have done, and then see people that can also support this project beyond what we are doing in the two states, because this is just two states, Enugu and Adamawa. We hope we will be able to take this all through the 36 states of the Federation.
We are grateful to SSDO and CPAT for bringing Radio School to us. Thank you.